You know, the trouble with this government, I don't know if you've worked this out, chums, is the fact that, well, first and foremost, it's a shambles. And I can say that because I report on it regularly from Downing Street, right? And I've got no idea, I'm sure you're the same if you live in the United Kingdom. I don't know who has got what position, you know, because they flip around that much. You think, when we were younger, you kind of knew who the Prime Minister was and the Home Secretary and the Deputy Prime Minister. I've got no idea now. It's like musical chairs. It's an absolute shambles. And what you see are people bumbling like David Lammy, clueless in the job. Yvette Cooper, that bad at stopping the boats that she got booted onto a far easier job and still has to take her portrait away, you know, doesn't want to do that. And then we have this particular woman, right? Angela Rayner, not quite wanting to move out of Admiralty House because she hasn't got time. She didn't realise she was going to get fired. And now she thinks she can make a comeback. Oh yes, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. You all right? It's nice to have your company. Thank you so much for joining me today. Truly, chums, if you were in Downing Street with me, you would see exactly what I mean. You know, you're standing there and the only true friend is Larry, the Downing Street cat. And as you know, we're good chums. We often have a little few words together. And sometimes it's quite funny, you know, I'll let you into a secret. When you're going live, as they say, you know, he's sort of walking around your feet and you're thinking, is he there? Am I going to stand it? You know, because he just goes in and out of your legs. And it's quite nerve-wracking. Maybe he's doing it on purpose. I know, I'll have to have a word. You could be onto something there. But on a serious note, it is nice. You know, that's the only part. When you go to Downing Street and you're there with all the other reporters, they're not very friendly because they're in two parks, obviously, left and right, you know, and there are supporters of the Prime Minister and non-supported. As we know from the mainstream media, this is the narrative that they want to do. I'm lucky because I just say what I want and they, you know, the channels accept it. But, you know, the bottom line is, you know, if you are on that part, there's the problem. Now, as you know, you've got Angela Rayner, right? Recently booted out through lying, you know, dress it up any way you want, but she just openly lied. And so that was that. And then, of course, we saw the tearful interview with Sky News and Beth Rigby, who, not forgetting, of course, had been suspended herself for breaking the rules during the pandemic. But, you know, Sky seemed to forget that, and seemingly so do Comcast. So you've got somebody who doesn't really want to tell the truth or stick to the truth, interviewing somebody who can't tell the truth and then got the bullet. It didn't matter though that Angela Rayner almost burst into tears, not just enough to have the mascara teeming down her cheek though, but you know, almost there, and then disappeared out without a trace. Last seen really, when you think about it picture wise, in the middle of the channel, vaping. Yes, tattoo in hand, and of course Poundland top. Nothing wrong with that. Woman of the people, as she kept pointing out. She's not really a woman of the people. If you dig a bit deeper, the country has given her all of the money that she's needed, including the 162,000 to help her get her dream home in Hove. Read the backstory of that, chums, and you'll understand exactly how much of a liar these people are. But you're never down for long with the Labour Party, as we've seen, because, as we now know, Lucy Powell might suddenly become the Deputy Prime Minister, you know, because even though Keir fired her, she's now building up this following. You see how this works. He's totally clueless, totally frightened to say no. With their conference coming up very soon, basically the members are suggesting that they bring Angela Rayner back on to the platform to just give one speech, you see, because Angela is so popular with the voter, the electorate. Tricky. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter what she talks about. It will be euphoric. Thing is, our Keir, as Angela likes to call him, doesn't like that idea because it proves, alongside her with Andy Burnham, who is the Mayor of Manchester, who also could be running to topple Keir, well, he doesn't want to be told that he's not popular. So consequently, what you've got is a sort of dramatic situation where the voters, the people who go to the Labour Party conference have said, been asked, what would you like to see? And they want to see, apparently, and this is the level that we're dealing with, they want to see the return of Angela Rayner. Even if she was just brought on, giving a speech, not on video though, she has to be there in person because they feel that she was badly treated against our Keir. Not more so, of course, given the fact that even she pointed out, according to an excellent source, that Peter Mandelson was not the right person for the job for the ambassador to the United States. And she sees her thing of simply lying about the misgivings of her house as mere trite, considering to what's further now to come regarding Mandy and of course the Epstein case. Either way, this could be quite an explosive and possibly exciting Labour Party conference, but it's all down to Keir. Will he let our Ange back in one more time? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.